Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are smoking a corned beef brisket on a pellet grill. I'm gonna turn this point into delicious crispy burnt ends, and we're gonna be slicing the flat for tender, juicy perfection. We're gonna keep the seasoning simple today with some salt, pepper, and garlic. Let's get the smokers fired up and let's get started. So here on my cutting board, I have the point section of the brisket and the flat section of the brisket. I found these at Walmart. These were some pretty decently priced packages, right around that $5 per pound mark. They're already pre-cut and pre-brined for you, so it has that great corned beef flavor in it already. You don't have to do anything else. I rinsed them off in my sink and I patted them dry with paper towel. So we're gonna start out with this flat. I don't want any fat on the side, so let's go ahead and take that off. That looks good. And just kind of trim this down a little bit. This is a little bit thick right here, so I'm gonna trim off just another little section. And the reason why we trim off that fat, it is not gonna render down, it's not gonna taste good. So I'm gonna follow this edge down right here, because the goal is to get about a 1/4 inch thick fat. It's looking like we're a little bit thick right here on our fat. So I'm gonna come along and take off little shavings here or there. All right, so this is looking really good now. We got a 1/4 inch layer that's even across the top of this fat. The meat's looking great. Let's go ahead and move on to the point. I don't want these big globs of fat. This is not gonna render down. Same process that we just did, we're gonna follow for our point. I'm gonna take off this big hunk of fat right there along the side. Look at that, we just exposed some of that great meat. And since this is so fatty, I don't really need that 1/4 inch layer like we do on our flat. You wanna be careful that you don't take off too much. Start to cut into that meat. All right, so that'll be our last cut. That looks pretty good to me. So now, as you guys can see, we have point that looks beautiful. Typically, when you smoke the burnt ends, this is already on the brisket. This piece of meat just kind of sits in the smoker, gets nice and crispy, smoky, and then at the very end, you cut it up into some cubes. Today, I'm actually going to do the opposite. If we can expose some more of the sides of this meat, let it get even extra smoky, let's just go ahead and do it. So I'm gonna come along here, and I'm just gonna cut strips about 1 inch or so thick. You just don't want it to be too thin. Guys, the smell of this meat is crazy. I eat pastrami almost every weekend from the butcher. I like that boar's head, top round pastrami. And I mean, this meat just smells like how that pastrami smells. Oh, look at that. That is gonna be one incredible bite. I don't know if you guys can see that in my camera. And we're just gonna turn these into smaller bites. These are just gonna shrink a bit while they're on our smoker. And this one looks pretty long, so I'm gonna double cut that one. All you're doing is cutting cubes. They don't need to be pretty, they don't need to be even or unison. This one is super fatty in this spot right here, so I'm actually gonna cut this huge hunk of fat off because nobody's eating that. Feeling pretty confident about these as we sit right now. These are looking great. I'm gonna cut the rest of these up, and I'll see you guys back in a minute. And now we're gonna season, and today I just want to do salt, pepper, garlic. Start off with the edges. And I'm not gonna go heavy either. Normally I go really heavy whenever I do briskets. But since this already has so much flavor inside of here already, I'm gonna do all 4 edges of my flat, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get this meat side. Boom, boom, boom. And I like to pat it in whenever I'm not using a binder. And then I'm gonna get that fat side, and we're gonna let this sit on our cutting board. We're gonna let this sweat out for about a good 30 minutes or so. I'm just gonna lay these here like this, and I'm just gonna pop the top, and I'm just gonna kind of roll them around. Just like that. We'll give it a nice little pop again, and I'll roll it around, and then we'll do one more little pop. So it looks to me like all the sides of these, and anything on the cutting board too, you know, you can go ahead and just kind of soak it up. You know, it looks like all 4 corners has gotten pretty good even coats. So whenever I'm making burnt ends, I like to use one of these handy dandy racks. This helps it out tremendously. So I'm gonna lay these on this rack, and this is gonna help us save time while we're out at the smoker. So now here you guys go. Our little burnt end pieces are here on the wire rack. Let's go get our smoker started. Turn this on, and I'm gonna be smoking at 250 degrees today. So our smoker is now rolling at 250 degrees. We have some good smoke coming in here. It's stabilized out real nice. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up this lid. I'm gonna take this flat, and I'm gonna place it the meat side down to protect it. So pellet grills, meat side down. There's no debate, just give it up, guys. Then I'm gonna place these burnt ends right next to it. We're gonna get it shut down. I'm gonna let this go for 2 hours. At that point, I'll come back out, I'll check the internal temperatures, I'll see if we're ready to wrap or what we need to do at that point, so let's jump to that point. It has now been 2 hours that we have been smoking this corned beef brisket. I'm gonna use my Thermopen here and we're gonna get some temperatures. Let's go ahead and open up the smoker. And these burnt ends have an incredible color. Let's get a quick temperature. We're at 170 in this one, and over here, we're right at about 132 degrees. So at this point, with the burnt ends being around 170 degrees, I would anticipate them somewhere in the next hour or so to reach 200 plus degrees. At that point, we're gonna put them in a pan with some sauce. Now for the flat over there, it's a lot thicker. It's one piece, it's all together. It's gonna take a lot longer. I'm gonna let that cook all the way up until it's at around that 160, 170 degree range, and then I'm gonna wrap it in butcher paper. We are now 3.5 hours in. I'm gonna go ahead and open this up and take a look. That's around 200. All the ones on the right are a lot high. Oh yeah, these are perfect. We're gonna go ahead and get these in a bath. So today for our burnt ends, I'm gonna lay down a nice little coat of some brown sugar. We're gonna pick these off. We're gonna set all these into our tray. I love the smell of the brisket, that fat rendering out. Gosh, it just smells so, so good. Now that we got all these in here, let's shut this down. So I'm gonna get my barbecue sauce, and I am just going to drizzle, oh yeah, all over these burnt ends. This is beautiful. And I'm gonna follow up with a nice little bit more brown sugar. I want these to be sweet and sticky. Just go ahead and give these a nice little toss in here. Let's get some tin foil. We're gonna cover these bad boys up, cook them for 1 hour. Nothing left to do, let's get it back on the smoker. So at 3.5 hours in, our flat is at 160 degrees. I feel really good with where we're at. We'll have burnt ends up pretty soon. Then that flat's gonna take a lot longer, but it's gonna make us some nice, beautiful slices. We are now 4.5 hours into this smoke, and at this point, we've reached about 162 degrees internal temperature. I'm gonna get this brisket wrapped up in some butcher paper, and I'm gonna put it back on the smoker until we are probe tender. Well, it's my favorite part of the video where I get to eat these delicious burnt ends. Our flat is still cooking away, so I'll get to try that later. This is probably good for a couple people to share, or maybe just me, you know? Let's go ahead and give this a bite. That is such an incredibly unique flavor. The outside has everything beautiful about traditional burnt ends. The sticky, the sweet, that nice little salty, peppery bite. And then the inside tastes so good. It's just so savory and it's so rich. These are delicious. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this up. Our flat has now been cooking for 9 hours. It took us 4.5 hours to get it to the point to where we wrapped it, and it's been in the wrap for about 4.5 hours. So now I'm gonna open this up. I'm gonna take this out, and we're gonna let it rest here for about an hour or so, just in that wrap. And then at that point, go ahead and slice it up and take some bites. So I'm gonna go ahead and take some slices here. Give this a slice. Oh yeah. All right, let's go ahead and give this a bite. See how we did. That fat is rendered very good. That has really good flavor. It's smoky, I love that. We had it on there for a good chunk of time. Has a nice little color to it. And this corned beef flavor, as you're biting it, the flavors kind of build in your mouth. I don't know if that makes any sense. But all in all, I would say that this is a winner chicken dinner. I mean, these slices come out sweet. Well guys, this was a cool video. I'm very happy that I made it. St. Patrick's Day is coming up. I don't know if you guys cook anything or do anything at your house. If you do, make sure to leave a comment down below and let me know what you guys do. One of my favorite things to do is to make food for other people that they enjoy, and to help you guys at home make food that you can make for your friends and your family and that they enjoy. So go ahead and subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'll be posting a new video every single Friday at 5 p.m. Like this video, share it with your friends. If you want to check out another great awesome video I have, you can click this video right here. And as always, I'll see you guys in my next video. Take care.